Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss Pre-Market Report for Friday, February 2nd, 2018. I'm Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Happy Friday, everyone. If you want to take a look at the monthly market outlook from yesterday's session, the recording is available here at pivotboss.com. You can also find it on the Twitter feed as well. Give it a look. We went just over an hour and found a ton of candidates here, and we're talking a lot of shop on stocks, futures, and even Bitcoin. Here's a look at the ES. Continues to hold below the 2840 level. That's the level we keep talking about. I mentioned yesterday in the monthly market outlook, I'm not convinced that we were done pulling back just yet, but we're coming into a zone where we have quite a bit of support. You can see the PIMA trigger zone here, the pivot range here. You can see major LVN support coming in at about 2760. All of those levels provide great support. At one point, we're going to find some sort of strong rejection that could bring us right back toward recent highs, and that could get us building out a range here after this recent strength that could then lead to another round of upside price discovery. Any failure to hold 2760 could be significant and could lead to a further move back into 2700. So right now the market's done a good job. I remember before when this thing tore off to this way to the upside, we had a very thin portion of the profile. Now with 8 or 10 days of trading sideways up here, first up, now pulling back, you've seen we've built out a nice little HVN up here. So that's kind of what could continue to happen up here as the market continues to develop. Overall, this market continues trending up, and so we got to continue to look to defend pullbacks until proven otherwise. Here's a look at the NQ chart. NQ looks very similar, holding at highs for the most part. It went sideways for about 8 strong sessions, and right now is actually below 6,900, a very narrow range from 7,000 to 6,900. It's pushing down, but look at the slope of the PIMAs here. Look at the pivot range providing support. All that right there could provide a great bounce opportunity at some point. But again, we could see a little bit more price discovery downside pullback before we see that bounce occur. Here's a look at crude oil. Crude oil has gotten a nice squeeze yet again. This squeeze occurring off the 6360s, bouncing up over a couple of sessions, now showing kind of a quiet digestion day at the moment, insight day. But overall, this thing has been trending up. The idea here behind the bounce was that if we bounce off that zone here, we would likely get up here and test 67s. So 67 still ahead, a new high beyond previous highs here likely to occur. We still got that nice little push up happening, so I think a little bit more upside could be in store, and from there we could continue to see another pullback. So 2 waves have occurred off weekly, off monthly VWAP, and both of them leading to nice little bounces so far. We could see further strength towards 67 in the short term as this continues to build out at highs. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if this thing were to come back again and come down here and continue to build out up here at these highs before a resolution occurs. GC, I mentioned yesterday that GC might be on the verge of a squeeze as well. We've held down here very nicely, little rounded bottom. 1355 continues to be the major area of resistance to watch, and if we start to squeeze through 1355s, we could see a major day of 28 to 30 handles of range and breakout, given the average daily range and over a 3-bar basis. So this could lead to a very nice squeeze, at least toward 1375. If that occurs, you got to be very careful up here because all rejections have occurred above 1375 since 2013. Lastly, looking at XPT, you see we finally hit 8K. Today we've rolled down, hit 8,000, got as low as 7,700, and we're showing a little bit of bounce off the lows right now. A little bit of bounce. We're right back toward the midpoint of the day. We'll see if that leads to a bigger bounce, but overall we've dropped away from the FOMC level to start it off. We've dropped below these lows and we've hit 8,000. If you look here, this is a lower low situation, but we also have a lower low on the oscillator, so it's not a divergence play. We're still clearly trending down. We might see a little bounce here, but again, lots of overhead resistance here that would come into play that could lead this thing down yet again. So 7,700 was the level we hit as the low point today. I mentioned that we still have 6,700 as the next major target below. So we're getting closer and closer to that level ever since we're hanging out up here near 12K, 11K. So getting closer to the downside here. We could see another bounce or a quiet sideways move, and that could provide another opportunity to lay on this thing. So not showing much strength again, and instead probing new lows, getting very close to our 6,700 target. All right, that's it for now. Let's see how this plays out heading into the rest of the session. Good luck and trade well.